What's up, everybody? This is Big Jack and Glenn back with a best bets of the NFL weekend video. This is the NFL Week 5. Before we get started, Jack, I think we have to give a shout out to one of our biggest fans, Mrs. Rourke. What's up, Mrs. Rourke? How you doing?
What's good in the
Uh,
cow?
yeah, that's right. That's right. Shout outs to Cab. Jack had a tough week last week. 0-2 and 1. Brings his season record to 6-5 and 1. Still a winner. I had a good week last week. I went 2 and 1. Um, my season record is now at 5-6 and 1. So if we both have good weeks, we could both be in the positive. Jack, how you feeling?
I'm doing all right, man. Yeah, tough week last week, like you said, 0-2 and 1. Realistically, could have very easily been 0 and 3. Sort of lucky to get that push with Buffalo, but ready to go, bounce back. Hopefully this week, I'll jump right into it with my first pick.
Okay.
I got burned. I was trying to get a little cheeky playing the Washington Commanders against Dallas last week. I'm not going to go into a breakdown of the full game, bad beat, good beats, this and that. Things happen, the results are the results. But 2 interceptions called back on some interesting penalties against the Commanders last week. Could have been a bit different of a game. But I'm going to go right back after the Cowboys this week. I'm going to take the Rams. I'm showing they're laying 5.5 at the moment. I'm going to take that. Rams at home, laying 5.5 against the Cowboys. I know the Rams offensive line is beat up. I was actually against them on Monday night. I got a nice hit with the 49ers, but I like the Rams to bounce back this week, take care of business. This Cooper Rush magic has got to come to an end at some point. I think Sean McVay schemes a good enough game plan where Stafford is getting the ball out against that stout pass rush that the Cowboys do have. And I think they defend home field and win by a touchdown.
Love it. Love McVay on a bounce back from a loss. Everybody knows I'm not a big fan of the Cowboys this year. Their defense has been pretty darn good, but I think the Rams defense shuts Dallas's offense down.
Yeah, a little bit of desperation, not desperation. The season's so long now with the 17 games that
Yeah,
not a lot really matters till probably November. You got to start getting into gear, but I do think the Rams, they're not going to want to drop under 500. I think it's a big home game. They're gonna get the win one way or another, and hopefully it's by 6.
right on, right on. All right, my first pick of the week. A lot of Geno Smith MVP talk going on right now, which is just absolutely banana land to me. I'm going the Saints. Fuck the Seahawks. I'm going the Saints -5 at home in the Superdome. Jameis is gonna light it up. The Saints defense is gonna make Geno Smith look like Geno Smith, and the Saints are gonna win by double digits, but we'll take -5 comfortably.
I like it. I think the Saints looked solid against Minnesota last week. Those London games are always kind of odd just because of the travel and a lot of unknown variables in those games. But Andy Dalton's starting again this week. We'll see what he can do. But I agree with you. I like that defense to kind of shut them down, and hopefully they can take care of business for you.
Oh yeah.
My second pick, I'm going to be riding the dog down in Jacksonville. I'm taking Houston Texans +7 straight at the moment. Um, Not a lot other than I just think they cover the touchdown. Jacksonville is, they got a little bit of love affair going on with some publicity after that nice win against the Chargers on the road. But, Trevor Lawrence kind of regressed to the mean a little bit. I think he'll be a good quarterback and continue to develop. But, I think he had, 5 turnovers last week, 4 lost fumbles, something ridiculous like that. In a tough weather game in the rain, he'll be a little more comfortable at home. But I think the Texans have got something going with that running game and Pierce. And, Davis Mills, in my opinion, is pretty solid. He's a lot better than I think a lot of people would believe. I mentioned before in one of our discussions about how he's not as good on the road as he is at home, which is a little bit of a cause for concern since it is at Jacksonville, but I'm still going to take him to get it done this week. I think Lovie Smith dials up something to keep Trevor Lawrence confused a little bit, and they keep it tight.
Jack, it's that time. First Oppo picks of the season. My
Love
second pick of the week is Jacksonville Jaguars -7. They're going to win by 35.
it.
It's going to be ugly. They're going to absolutely dominate the Texans. They will be bending them over. Davis Mills will look like he's a lost puppy, and Trevor Lawrence will look like Peyton Manning out there. So, Jacksonville -7, my second pick of the week. What's your last pick of the week?
Hey, good luck, man. It's not the first time. Won't be the last time.
Got to stay true to ourselves here.
Yeah, amen. My last pick, I kind of been teetering back and forth with a couple here. I'm going to kind of throw out a bonus pick with the over under in the Browns Chargers game is like 47.5. Last year they played each other and scored 100 points. Maybe it's a gotcha line, but I think the over in that is kind of appealing. But I got to, as you just said, be true to myself. I hate to do it. I got to take the Vikings -7.5. The beloved literally lost to Saquon Barkley playing quarterback last week by 8. So I don't know how they don't lose by at least 8 on the road to the Vikings. Kirk Cousins gets a bad rep. I like him more than some people do. I know he's not great in prime time, but I think he's a solid quarterback. He gets the job done. Jalen Johnson is listed as questionable currently, but everything I've seen kind of leans more toward that doubtful type tag where I don't think he's going to play. So I don't know what we're going to do to stop Justin Jefferson or who on earth we're going to try to have cover him. And we all know what the Bears' run defense is. So Dalvin Cook and Madison, I think they're going to be running wild as well. I just don't see how this Bears offense is in any position to keep up with the Vikings tomorrow, regardless of whether or not Luke Getsy thinks that Justin Fields hasn't had a rough month.
All right. Hate the pick, but respect the pick. Gotta stay true to yourselves, Big Jack. Gotta stay true to yourself. All right. My last pick of the week, Jalen Hurts, I think, is the real deal, but I'm going against him this week. I'm going Cardinals +5. I'm a big Jalen Hurts fan. He's everything I wish Justin Fields was, I think. And I think he's a leader. I think he's the man, but he's not going to cover -5 this week. Maybe the Eagles win by a field goal. They ain't winning by more than 5. Cardinals +5. Give me them at home. Cardinals +5.
Yeah, you got a little bit of a love affair going on with the Eagles and the Jaguars. You've been all over their games all year.
I like both those teams. I like the Eagles a lot. I think the Eagles are one of the most well-rounded teams in the NFL. But this week, they just don't cover 5. Maybe they go out and squeak out a road win with a last-second field goal. They ain't winning by a touchdown.
Yeah, no, I like the pick. I mean, I was against the Cardinals last week, which turned out to be a horrible pick. I took Carolina at home.
First half, it was looking good.
It looked good for a while, but Baker Mayfield is just bad. I got sucked into thinking that it was too easy to take the Cardinals, overthought it a little bit. But I think the Eagles are a strong team, obviously the only undefeated team left. Yeah. Jalen Hurts playing at an MVP type level at the moment. I just don't love Kyler Murray as much as a lot of people seem to. The Cardinals are good early in the season. They seem to kind of teeter off as it moves along down the last 7 or 8 games, but it's an interesting spot. I didn't like the game personally, but I guess gun to head situation, I'd probably be on your side.
Right on. All right, just a quick recap. Jack, going into the weekend, 6-5-1. His picks are Rams -5.5 over the Cowboys, Texans +7 over the Jaguars, Vikings -7.5 at home versus the Bears. He also mentioned the over on the Browns-Chargers game, if you guys want to sprinkle that as well.
Hey.
Glenn, 5-6-1 going into the weekend, is going Saints -5 at home versus the Seahawks. I'm taking the opposite side of Jack. I'm going Jaguars -7 at home versus the Texans. See how that one goes. That'll be interesting. Maybe we'll do a little sandwich bet or something, Jack.
It's gonna
And
be
then
tough for your parlay, man.
I think this is a no parlay week, but I'll talk about that after. And then lastly, I'm going Cardinals +5 at home versus the Eagles. Yeah, this week I think is a non-parlay week. Number one, we're against each other. Number two, you're against the Bears. So I think it's a non-parlay week. Maybe I do like a little 3 or 4 legger, but I think it's going to be a small parlay. It ain't going to be the $1,000 parlay like I usually do. That's $1,000 on it to win a lot more than that. But yeah.
Hey, it's always a non-parlay week for me, man.
Yeah, you're not a parlay guy. Should I just bet the Jaguars and the Texans just to give the house some money? Just stay true to ourselves.
You could lay them. You could lay them with Jacksonville since you like that.
Okay.
And money line the Texans.
Whoa, that'd be aggressive. All right, those are the picks. NFL Week 5. Hope you guys at home are enjoying it. Like, subscribe, tell your friends about us. We love you. Peace.